over 35 trying to figure out how to set your macros for fat loss or for muscle gain, but without all the guesswork? If so, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to calculate the right amount of protein, carbs, and fats for your goals step by step. Thing is that macros are kind of like your metabolism's control panel. If your proteins, your carbs, and your fats aren't aligned, results are going to stall, you're not going to feel as good, and you're just going to feel frustrated. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. My name is Lance, and I coach high-performing entrepreneurs, creators, and professionals over 35. The guys that I work with typically have crushed their careers. They feel super confident in what they do, but not so much in their physique and their body confidence. So they might feel behind in energy, body composition, and confidence. Now, since 2005, 20 years this year, I've helped hundreds upon hundreds reset their metabolism, drop fat, and rebuild their edge and their physique without the extreme diets, without the gym bro tactics, or eating or living like what I call a fitness monk or a pro bodybuilder. If you're ready to align your habits with your high performance life so that you can finally get in shape and stay in shape for life without feeling miserable, deprived, or requiring tons of willpower and discipline, you're in the right place. Let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we will get going. All right, guys. Very first thing, if you're truly wanting to see fat loss that lasts more than a few months or muscle that stays with you even when life gets hectic, it's important to know the science so that you're not duped by the next marketing gimmick, the next diet fad, the next biohacking thing that comes out that may not really be all that safe or effective or sustainable for your lifestyle. All right. So the thing you need to know is that carbs do not cause fat gain any more than fats or proteins do. Carbs are simply a macronutrient or a placeholder for calories, all right? So if you reduce your fats, you'll lose body fat if you reduce enough. If you reduce carbs, same thing. If you reduce proteins, same thing. There's nothing magical about reducing carbs. Each macronutrient is going to be worth a certain amount of calories. That's why I said it's a placeholder. So reducing any macronutrient or cutting it out is going to cause fat loss. Well, I'll kind of share that here in a second. So proteins are going to be 4 calories, carbs are 4 calories, fats are double at 9. So this is kind of the issue of what happens. You reduce some of them, you're reducing calories. Now, fats being so high in calories, what we call calorie dense, is what led to a big part of the reason of what we call the low fat craze that happened in the 80s and 90s. If you're my age, you probably remember one of your parents, an older sister, something like that, talking about, oh, it's too high in fat. Oh, I'm on a low fat diet. Oh, that's very fattening. It's fatty foods. All of this was based on fats that people were trying to avoid. And I get it because it is the highest in calories. So it is a low hanging fruit. But unfortunately, much like doing extremely low carbs, doing the extremely low fats also suck for dieters too. So it's not going to last, even though it did bring some results, much like cutting carbs will work, but not long term. All right. Macro balance, though, this is where you're eating a safe amount. I'll move that up. Safe amount of calories and a healthy blend of all 3 macronutrients. And that is what, in my 20 years of fitness coaching, seems to be significantly more sustainable compared to just going low fat or just going low carb. All right. Let me slide this over here. All right. So the very first one we're going to talk about here, let me move this up a little bit. There we go. Oh, too much. Cool. All right. The very first one we're talking about is proteins. All right. So very first thing we're going to talk about is, like I mentioned, it's 4 calories per gram. All right. So 4 calories per gram. Next thing is, it is the highest of thermic effect of food, or TEF. All right. Now, if you've not seen my video that I just did yesterday on total daily energy expenditure and how many calories you need, please go back and watch that one first. Otherwise, this is not going to make as much sense. But when we're talking about TEF, or thermic effect of food, we're simply talking about there is an amount of your calories that you consume when you eat that will be burned simply from digesting and delivering those nutrients to your body. That system is thermic effect of food. Protein has the highest thermic effect of food, 25 to 30%. So the simplest way to put that is if you eat 100 calories, about 25 to 30 of those calories are instantly going to be used as if you were doing exercise, even though you've done nothing. It's a pretty cool thing. So not getting enough protein is going to be a big deal. You want to make sure that you get enough. All right. Now, how much we need, we're going to talk about in just a second. Don't worry, I'll figure that out for you as well. What does muscle or what does that protein do? Well, it's going to help build and repair muscle, and it's going to protect your lean body mass in a deficit so that you can keep your metabolism up and look good and not look like Skeletor when you're losing body fat. It's a big deal. So we want to make sure that we're eating enough protein. It's also going to help with satiety. It's going to reduce cravings. It's going to keep your metabolism functioning and keep your hormones balanced so that you're, we'll just say it that way. We're going to keep the more muscle on you is going to help keep your metabolism and your hormones more balanced as well. All right. I won't dig in super deep. So how much do you need? Well, what I normally teach my clients is that you want to aim for 0.8 to 1.2 grams, not for your body weight. Your goal body weight is what we want. Now I'm 220 pounds. If I wanted to be 200 pounds, I would do, just to make it easy, 200 pounds times 1. So instead of doing 0.8 or 1.2, I'm going in the middle to 1. 200 times 1 is 200 grams of protein. Super, super easy. All right. Here's what it looks like. Goal is 200 pounds, 200 grams of protein times is 800 calories. 200 times 4 calories per gram, 800 calories. Very, very easy. Then we go over to this. We're now at fats, right? So basically, first thing you're going to figure is going to be your proteins once you know how many calories you need. If you don't know how many calories you need, you got to go back and watch my video yesterday so you learn that. And then you can know, okay, now I have my calories. What do I do with them? First, you start with protein. So we've got 800 calories from our 2,000 for protein, all right? Now, fats, 9 calories per gram. So it's actually more than double. So that's our first thing we need to know. Second thing is, it is the lowest of TEF or thermic effective food. Only 2 to 3 calories out of every 100 that you eat will be burned by you eating it. So if you eat 100 calories of fats and 100 calories of protein, the protein is going to lead to technically a greater calorie deficit needed for fat loss compared to fats. Does this mean that we avoid fats? No. Does it mean that we just scale up our protein so we're boning? No. It's going to lead to digestive issues if you do crazy amounts of protein, not to mention it's not the most fun food. So you don't want to just stack up your protein. You want to get how much you need, all right? So, but you do need to know that fats are lower in thermic effective food, even lower than carbs. So if somebody was making the case of, well, yeah, cutting out carbs is an easy way to lose fat, well, I would actually posit that you're reducing chances of fiber being as high. You're reducing high enough thermic effective feeding. I'll show you that in a second compared to this. So fats would be better. But I still don't elect for that. I elect to have my clients do a balance of carbs and fats reduction from calories so you can see fat loss, all right? Hopefully this is making sense. Next thing we need to know is that fats are essential for hormones like testosterone, your cognition, which is your brain health, joints feeling better, your skin looking and feeling better, insulation so you can keep warm. All of this is from fats, right? There's still way, way more, such as like your vitamin, what is that? Not solubility, but your vitamin absorption. There we go. Vitamin absorption is from your fats as well, all right? What's the next one? Let's see. Next one is, I always like to let people know, fats are not bad for you. They're just calorie dense. It just means that we don't need a crap ton of fats. We need the right amount of fats to function, all right? And I'm going to talk with you here in a second about how much that is. So what do we aim for? 20% on the low side, 40% on the high side. I prefer around 30, which I'll talk about in a second. But what this looks like is that 20% of your total, if you had 2,000 calories, 20% of those calories at minimum should come from fats, maximum 40%. 30% is most ideal for me, what I do with my clients, because it gives more room for carbohydrates, which again, as long as you're not super sedentary, you're going to like that better. And on top of that, again, these are calorie dense macros. So 20 to 40%. Now, my rule is never go lower than 15% on fats, never go lower than 15% on carbs. That's more that danger zone where is it feasible? Sure. But for most people, it's not. And my channel is not about the fastest fat loss, the fastest fitness. It is about the most permanent fitness, the most permanent transformation instead of a temporary makeover. All right. So most guys I have start around 30%. And what that looks like is your 2,000 calories, you multiply by 0.30. If you're doing 35%, 0.35, 40%, 0.40. Very, very simple. For us, this gives us 600 calories. You take 600 divided by 9 calories per gram, it gives you 67 fats. So we know we have right here 200 proteins, 67 fats, and here in a second we'll reveal what we have in carbs. All right. First thing we got to know, 4 calories per gram. We already reviewed that. Next thing we need to know is that TEF is actually higher than fats, but lower than proteins. So for every 100 calories that you take in, about 5 to 10 of those calories are going to be burned or used as if you were exercising. I'm just making that just so you can think of how it's used, even though you're not doing anything active, all right? So it is going to be, again, more thermogenic than fats. So again, this is where a lot of people are like, just cut out your fats. Well, I would say that it's easier to cut out cut out your carbs. It's easier to cut out your fats than it is to cut out your carbs when you're talking about more bang for the buck, because 1 gram of carbs is only 4, whereas 1 gram of fats is 9. That's where I say, not to mention the fact that we're going to talk about fiber in a second, which you get from carbs as well. All right. So what do carbs do? Now, this is not even close to the list, but just kind of the main points. It's going to also help for brain function because, again, one of my favorite things that I learned about 10 years ago, one of my clients was an oral surgeon, and he was part of the Mensa program, so very intelligent individual. And his daughter was an ENT, also part of the Mensa program. So this means, again, by definition, they had genius level IQ, very, very high IQ. They were intelligent people. I preface that so that as I say something that might be a little bit more controversial, you've got your thinking caps on a little bit too. It's not for everybody, but just for some of those who might, want to troll. The point with this is that what they were sharing is, when I was on a FaceTime with them, it was a really fun phone call. They were talking about how many calories and how much carbohydrates, aka glucose, is used for the brain for high-level chess competitors. So genius-level chess competitors actually burn a significant amount of calories by the high-level thinking and comprehension that they do during their chess game. Why do I share this? Well, because it's carbohydrates that allow that high level of thinking. A high-level chess player would never, ever do something like cutting out all their carbs because they are kind of shooting themselves in their foot when it comes to being able to process and think as quickly as they need to. So I just throw that out there anecdotally, just so you can think to yourself like, oh, it's more than just fuel for my workouts. It is my brain function a little bit too, all right? So it's also going to be obviously your energy and your performance fuel. Now, it also is going to be what replenishes glycogen, which is stored glucose in the muscles, all right? Now, I just made this video a little bit ago, and the video crashed. I had to redo this. But what I was talking about is that if you don't have enough glycogen in your system, not only are you going to notice that your training is not as good, your workouts, but for me, if you'll look at me today, go look at like another video, you might see that I look a little bit thicker in other videos or more vascular. I've not had enough carbs today or enough water, so I am looking what we call in the industry flat or flatter, which means I'm less vascular today, my muscles look softer or not as dense or full, and this is because of lacking glycogen, lacking water, hydration, all right? Plus, I have not moved as much. My workout will be after this. Normally, I work out around 2 p.m. Right now, it's 20 to 6, and I've not worked out yet. So I've not had enough blood flow, so on and so forth. Why do I share this? Well, because glycogen, stored glucose in the muscles, when you have enough carbs, you are going to look fuller in your muscles. And since guys are watching this, I want you to know carbs are not just for your workouts. They are going to keep your muscles looking fuller, which is a big deal, all right? Okay, moving on. There are 2 ways to calculate your carbs after you've calculated your fats and your protein. Number 1 is a really, really cool way to do this. Let me make sure I've got, okay, cool. Yep, there it is. Number 1 is where the same way that you did with your protein, you would do with your carbs. So you take your goal body weight times 1, and that's how many grams of carbs you get. So in this case here, it would be 200. So 200 times 1, 200 carbs. 200 proteins, 200 carbs. Simple, simple, simple. This is what would be known as like a 40-40-20 ratio. 40% carbs, 40% proteins, and 20% fats. That's the old school bodybuilder style, but it works. I don't like being that low in fats because I do enjoy my fats, but that method works. I like a little bit less carbs and a little bit more fats. For me, that's my preference. All right. Second way to do this is a little bit more calculation, but for me, this is what tends to work a little bit better for most clients. For myself, it's just going to depend on how many carbs I get. If I see, oh man, it's not very many, I'm going to adjust it. That's the beauty of this. You can adjust it based on your lifestyle, all right? So option number 2 is to take your leftover calories after your protein and your fat's already been divided, and that's it. So what does that look like? Well, we had 2,000 calories to begin with. We used 800 calories for protein. We used 600 calories for fats. We have 600 left over. So 600 calories goes towards our carbs. 600 divided by 4 calories per carb is 150 carbs. So if we did this way, we would get 200. This way gives us 150. Totally up to you. If 150 is enough, go for it. If 200 is better, go for that. All right, that is how we do it. It's very, very, very simple. All right. So fiber is one that is not a macronutrient. It's technically a micronutrient, and it's technically part of carbohydrates. But I want to share it with you because it has such a big impact on digestion, blood sugar, satiety, and it is much higher of a TEF than regular carbs and fats, all right? It is actually closer to about 20 to 25% TEF. So if you get enough fiber, you are actually going to be burning more calories at rest compared to not getting enough fiber, all right? Not to mention that your digestion will be better. All kinds of things end up happening. You feel more satiated. Your gut health is better because fiber is known as a prebiotic. You've heard of probiotics. Probiotic is well, let me say it this way. Prebiotics, fiber, is the food for your probiotic, all right? Kind of a loose way to say it, but that is kind of what's going on. So fiber is a big deal for gut health as well, all right? All right, next one here, alcohol. There we go. Alcohol is the 4th hidden macro. It has 0 nutritional value, but because it is 7 calories per gram, I want to mention it because people are like, well, do I have to avoid alcohol? You don't. But what you do want to know is that those 7 calories per gram, if you have 2,000 calories, that means that those calories are going to be stolen from either your protein, don't do that, or it's going to be stolen from your carbs or your fats, do that. Meaning that you don't reduce your protein calories to make room for alcohol, you reduce adequately your carbohydrates and your fats to make room for alcohol within reason, all right? Because again, ultimately it's calories in and calories out, but alcohol has no nutritional value, but it also is going to lead to an increase of cortisol secretion. What you need to know is that cortisol, when it's present in the body, your body is going to metabolize or use the calories from alcohol, all of it, before it even considers using or burning calories from fats, protein, and carbs. Keep that in mind. The other thing is when cortisol is present in the body, whether it's from alcohol or from stress, because cortisol is a stress hormone, you are also going to be slowing down your other hormone functions, digestive enzymes, your cognitive function at times, your testosterone function, progesterone, all of these things slow down when cortisol is present. Do you need to avoid it? No, but you do need to keep that in mind so you know how to do it within moderation, all right? Now, if you want me to do a video on this, that's why I put this on here so I wouldn't forget. If you want me to cover alcohol, fiber, cortisol, HRV, any of those things, let me know and be specific about which one you want me to cover in the comments, and I will cover that for you as well, all right? One more thing I want to make sure I don't forget. Did I remember that? Yes, I remember that. Okay, so we're good. I wanted to make sure I had notes that I wanted to make sure that I remembered also. Now, if you want to learn the ins and outs of more of this nutrition, obviously there's a lot more. I'm trying to cram a lot in. And you want to do it the fun, realistic way, then what I'm going to highly, highly recommend is that you grab my book in the description box below. It's called Food, Love, and Fat Loss. I cannot ever remember the subtitle. I don't say it enough. It's like the most comprehensive guide to losing fat and not flavor. That might be it. I just always forget. I never say it. But the point is, normally it's $17. Right now it's only $7. It will not say that for long. So if you are watching this video months from now when I'm recording it, and you go to check, it might not be $7. I apologize. I just can't keep it that way forever. So nevertheless, that is everything, guys. If you feel like this video has been helpful, let me go ahead and stop the sharing here. There we go. If you feel like this has been helpful, if you feel like it's valuable, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. It helps to send the algorithm a message to say, hey, more people want to hear about this. And the second thing is, it helps so much when you share the videos, so that way more people get this in front of their eyes to see, hey, I don't have to cut carbs to get what I want. I can do this the sustainable way, in a way that fits me. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys rock. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Stay tuned. The next video I will be talking about, I have not fully decided on which one, but you won't want to miss it, because I am doing a 90-day challenge where I am doing a video every single day other than Sundays for the next 90 days. If it goes well, where I'm getting a lot of good feedback and support, I'll be doing that again for 90 days thereafter. So this is your chance. If you want me to cover something, get 20 years of fitness coaching experience, I am at your disposal here. So let me know what you want me to cover, and I will do that. And thank you guys again for tuning in. You guys rock. Have an awesome rest of your day, and we'll see you all on